Hi, welcome back. Okay, this class today will focus on neck and shoulders. So we have a lot of issues in this area due to how much we're using the phone these days, how much we're using the computer, improper posture, how we sit on chairs a lot. So this is a really important practice to have in your toolkit for when you can feel some tension. Sometimes you feel it, but you ignore it. So to go back to these kinds of actions and practices that I'm going to show you this morning, when you have that kind of notification, there's some pain or some tension, just go back to this practice and start to, open the shoulders more, start to lengthen, dropping your shoulders. All these things will help you to alleviate the potential for having neck and shoulder problems. So let's get started. Before we get started, if you enjoy this video and find it helpful, please give it a like. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe and don't forget to click the bell so that you are notified when the new videos are uploaded. Now let's get started. All right, so let's get started. We're going to focus on the neck and the shoulder tightness and releasing. So I have a really good candidate here that has tight neck and shoulders. So you want to come up? Good. So you'll first bring your arm to the wall and have it a little bit lower. I want you to bring your feet to the wall, your hips to the wall, and move this shoulder to this shoulder. This shoulder is coming back now, so I want you to slide it forward and then just be aware of what happens in there. So we're standing in Tadasana. And this hip, let's bring you all the way to the wall, this shoulder to the wall. And with this hip, you're moving this hip in toward that wall, standing equally on both feet, Tadasana. Okay? Now let's have him start a little bit lower here. You can see he's tight there. This is lifting up. So you want to bring this shoulder down. You want to widen through the collarbones. Bring the head of this shoulder back and drop this. Now, move this shoulder blade forward and move that shoulder forwards until it can come in line. Breathe. And you feel any sensation? Okay, so I think he has a lot of extension here coming into the hand. So you're using the hand at the wall, you're using the shoulder blade coming forward to bring that shoulder forward. Lift the chest. Keep the hips pinned in. Now you can take your hand to the right hip. Take your left hand to the right hip. That's it. And with that, draw that shoulder back. Front ribs moving back, tailbone moving forward. Okay. And then release. You can feel that? Okay, let's do the other side. So standing in Tadasana, the hips pinned against the wall. So using that fixed position of the hips, fixed position coming in toward the wall, and then you're going to bring your hand onto your hip, bring this arm back, and then bring the shoulder blade in, widen through the chest, elbow moving towards the wall. And now move that left shoulder blade forward. Breathe into that. Do you have any sensation in the shoulder? Yeah. Okay. Stretch through the arm. Breathe. Okay. And then release. Okay. Yeah, bring the arm back. When he brings the arm back, he still needs to rotate that shoulder. He needs to descend the shoulders, bringing that shoulder forward, moving this back. Slide the shoulder forward along the wall. And then release. Good. You can take the first side again. Let's see if we can go up a little bit higher. So he may or may not be able to go up higher. You have to breathe into this. So whatever sensation you feel, hand on your hip over towards your right hip, left hand on your right hip. That's it. So now you can see he's tight here. In order for him to bring his arm up. He has to bring this up. So I want him to bring it a little bit lower. So don't bring it that high. Work on dropping this. So he's quite tight here. He's stuck in the shoulder. But I'm just going to give him a little bit of help here. Dropping that. And then release. Other side. So everyone's got different shoulders. Everyone has different tightness, so you have to work with what you have. Dropping your shoulder. Collarbones wide. Draw this right shoulder back, left shoulder blade forward, and left shoulder scoot, lengthen it along the wall. Stretch through your fingers. Press the fingers, lengthen the fingers. Yeah, that's it. Good. So the idea is not to create more tightness by lifting up. So only take your hand back as far as you can. Okay, so now you're going to come one arm's length away and bring your hand to the wall, palm facing up. And from here, press the palm, press the fingers, and then turn the arm, lift the inner elbow up, and keep that same Tadasana feeling. Hand on your hip, and lift the arm, lift the elbow, turn the shoulder, turn the chest. Good. And so you can see his tendency is to lift that shoulder up. So bring your hand down a little bit further. Spread the fingers.
I don't have flexibility in my wrist.
So yeah, he doesn't have much flexibility in the wrist, he says, so he must be short in here. So this is shortening. So I'm going to see if I can bring a little bit of extra help here. Can you descend that? Can you release that? Lift the elbow, extend into the palm, and roll your shoulder back. Okay. So now turn the hand out to the side. Drop the hand a little bit so you can drop that shoulder. Now, turning the palm even more. See if you can turn that shoulder down. That's it. So you're lifting the inner elbow up and you're getting that rotation on the arm. So the shoulder is moving down. Standing tall, lift up through the chest. Lift the elbow up toward the ceiling. Stretch from the elbow into the palm. Turn the top shoulder. Okay, then release. What did you feel in that?
I felt like my shoulder was getting a nice rotation and I was getting a stretch within here.
Okay, good. So let's do the other side. So oftentimes these nerves get a little bit tight and they don't get the information when you're stuck in the shoulder. So here you're using a little traction with the shoulder moving back, shoulder blade moving in and turning and lengthening here. So you're extending through the whole inner arm. So you can see this side is not as tight for him. Maybe you can't see, but I can see. Stand in Tadasana, inner edges of your feet together. Lift up through your arches. Bring your feet together. Lift up through the ankles, lift up through the arches, lift up and descend. Breathe into it. Press the heel of the hand. Turn the top shoulder. All right. Did you do up? Yeah, you did that.
I did the side, I didn't do up.
Okay, so he's going to bring it up.
I actually got a little sensation in my thumb.
So it's quite red. Did you get nerve?
Tingling.
Okay.
I
So,
have a thing going on with my neck.
yeah, if you start getting nerve pain, then start to come out of it. You don't want to hold that too long. press. So there was obviously some jamming. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. And then release. Okay.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to use the ropes here. So you may or may not have ropes, but I'm just going to show you with these ropes. So if you have something at home, you can make something, or just want you to come forward and allow your shoulders to move back. So coming forward with gravity, dropping your shoulders, lifting your chest. Lift up. I'm going to take these a little bit longer and see if I can get more space. So taking the arms behind me, rolling the shoulders back. So you can see I was jammed up before, so that was too high. So I want to drop the shoulders. I want to turn the arms and bring the chest forward. In order to use gravity, I'm going to walk my feet back a little bit and just allow the body to move forward while my arms are lengthened back, right at the shoulders. So holding on, lengthening the inner arm. You can feel that lifting up through the chest. And then releasing. And then I'm going to turn the hands to face back. So my shoulders are moving forward. I'm going to hold this way now. Shoulders are moving forward. Roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades in, tailbone moving in. Okay, so you're just getting some space here. You're opening here in the shoulders. And next we'll go into Adho Mukha Svanasana. So I'm going to have you take, sometimes we do this in the ropes, but you probably don't have ropes at home. If you do, you can bring yourself into the rope. So I will go down into Adho Mukha Svanasana, and I walk my blocks out. So just adjust yourself. The higher height may not work if you don't have your legs in the ropes. Okay, so the ropes help to move the weight back. But you can bring your heels onto the wall, so you can really press your legs back, and at the same time, press into the hands, press into the heel of the hand, and lengthen. So you're getting a little bit more height. You're opening through the armpit chest area. Now bring your front lower ribs towards your back lower ribs. So not sinking your middle body toward the floor. Just work on opening through the armpit area, keeping the shoulders moving back toward the wall, shoulder blades up toward the hips. And then come out. Then you can go onto the next height. Take the blocks a little bit lower. You can have the heel of the hand onto the block, so you're pressing down. And this is a pretty sticky mat, so you don't want to press the hands this way. So the blocks are sliding, but you're pressing down, and you're lifting up through the arms. So keep the elbows moving towards one another, so the elbows are straight, outer arms are straight, and then bring those front ribs toward the back ribs. Keep the heels pressing, move the thighs back. So use the action of the legs to get more space in the armpit area. And then come out. And then you can take the blocks away. This time, take the hands, let's take the hands on the blocks. We'll turn the palms out. Okay, so we'll stay on this. So from here, you're going to get the same action you had at the wall with the hands turned. So we're rotating the upper arm, upper shoulder. Okay, you can have your thumb on the block just so you don't slide. Have the heel of the hand and the baby finger side. Okay. And then position your feet. So you have a little bit height, moving up with the hips.
thumb and baby finger side, heel of the hand. And now rotate the arm, like we were doing at the wall. Get that inner arm rotating, shoulder moving down. Press the hand, press the heel of the hand, and lengthen up. And then bring your front ribs towards your back ribs. Pressing the heels, move the thighs back. And then release. And then come into Uttanasana. Come into Uttanasana with your hands turned out. So just doing this shoulder work to get the rotation on the arms. Hips are over the heels. Lift up. Turning the inner arms. Lengthening. Move the hips back, move the thighs back. Four corners of the rib cage parallel to one another. So the front ribs moving up toward the upper ribs. So you're not in this position where the abdomen is sinking down, but you bring the front ribs up so you can feel that width coming across the upper back. Move the shoulders away. Okay, and then release. And take your blocks away. Stand back up into Tadasana. And then bring your feet parallel to one another. Interlace your fingers. Parvatasana. Press your hands out. Inhale, lift up. So now, as in downward dog, you're still getting that rotation on the upper arm. The forearm is turning toward the median line, and the upper arms are rotating out, just like what they were when the hands were turned. Lift up, and bring your arms down. Change the cross on the fingers, lengthening out. So even though it seems that the arm is turning this way, this arm, the inner arm is in line, this is going to be turning against the action of this arm, the lower arm, to get that rotation. So turning the inner arms, dropping the tops of the shoulders, broadening, so this is turning, and drop your shoulders, lengthen the back of the head, lengthen the neck. Keep your face soft, keep your breath soft. Elbows moving towards one another. And exhale, bring the hands down. Stand in Tadasana and drop your shoulders. Let the collarbones wide, move your shoulders back, and extend the arms down. So the weight of the arms moving right down into the fingertips. So feel that heaviness in the arms, so that the heaviness comes in the shoulders, so that they're not lifting up. If there's any tension there, relax that tension. Breathe. All right, so now we will have a chair, and you'll have maybe a bolster. So let's just take the chair to the wall. So here you're going to come into up dog. So your thighs are pressing against the bolster. Your pelvis is pressing against the bolster. You can just lie down into that. Stretch out through the legs, and then with your elbows bent, lift the chest, drop the shoulders. So keep the shoulders moving down, press the hands into the bolster, lift the chest. So your pelvis is right up against the bolster, extend the legs away from that, lift up. And then come into Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen the arms. Still lifting the inner arms, descending the outer arms. And then again, coming into that. Inhale. Fix the pelvis. Extend out through the legs. Keep the knees lifted. Make room in the armpit area. Lift the armpit chest. Connect with the upper back. Lift up. Now drop the shoulders. Keep the back of the head lifting up. If you have compression in your neck, just look forward. And then again, coming into Ardha Uttanasana. Keep the arms lengthened, opening the armpit chest, moving the front ribs up toward the back ribs. And we'll do that one more time. And then coming forward, fixing the hips, extending the legs, press down with the arms, get that curve to the upper back, lift up, press the hands, straighten the elbows, lift the chest, drop the shoulders, lift the back of the head. Breathe. Exhale. Ardha Uttanasana. Front ribs toward the back ribs. And then come. Okay, we'll use a mat for this. So if you have an extra mat, take that extra mat. So just be a gentle back bend, okay? So the chair is good to use to get that extra curve to the upper back, which when you're getting that, the shoulders are moving down, shoulder blades are moving down, and you're getting that rotation of the shoulders. So here, you'll have to position yourself and just come down onto the back of the chair till you feel that the chair back is more or less at your shoulder blades. Okay, maybe a little bit higher, not on the tips. And then just start to, so as this mat is giving traction to the back, feet are pressing and chest is lifting and shoulders and shoulder blades and skin is moving up toward the middle back. You can take your hands on your head. So if you have any kind of a neck issue or tightness, just hold onto the head and lengthen. Use your feet, thighs are parallel, and lift your chest. And as you lift the chest, you're getting that rotation on the top of the shoulders. Lengthen the back of the head with the hands and move the elbows up toward the ceiling. Just stay there and breathe. And then coming back down. So getting a breath that's relaxed. And then one more time. So you're bringing the buttock up, absorbing the tailbone toward the pelvis, pressing into the feet, feeling you can press into the feet a little bit more and slide down. So you're coming down a little bit further. There's no neck issues. You can start to extend the arms. To come up, take your hands back on your head, neck on your neck, and come up. And then come out carefully so you don't fall, the chair doesn't fall. All right, now we're going to take the mat and bring the mat onto the chair. Viparita Dandasana. So you can have a bolster and use that bolster. You may even use a couple blankets, so have something near you. Depends on the height of your chair, depends on your height. So I'm just going to have this here, and I'll remove it if I don't need it. I want to come onto the crown of the head. So I want the head descending. You don't need to have the bolster, but I'm going to use the bolster there because I'm assuming maybe you have tight shoulders or neck. I'll show both ways. So you'll come into the chair, and depending on your flexibility, you may want to have some height underneath your feet. Okay, so you can have a couple blocks, you can have a higher height, or you can have your heels on the floor. So I'll just show at the lowest, and then if you need extra height, you can have a little bench here or a table. You can keep your legs straight as well. Come into the chair. And this mat, again, is going to help get that traction, moving the back down. So it's going to be more on the lower back than it will be on the upper back, but especially the traction for the tailbone. Okay, this might be a little bit too close, so I'm going to move the chair a little bit further away. Okay, so I'm hooking the buttocks, hooking the top of the buttocks. Actually, now I'm too far, so I'm going to just press my heels into that. So first, bring your feet onto the floor and adjust. So my shoulder blades are coming off and my head can come down. So it's about the right height for me. All right, so I'm essentially getting the same thing that I was getting over the chair rail. The shoulders are descending, shoulder blades are moving toward the hips, and then you can bring your arms over in a comfortable position. Just hold onto the elbows, and then extend the legs. Since I'm a little far away from the wall, I'm just going to bring my heels to the front of the block and extend the legs. So it's important that the legs are extending and active. From that extension, you get the extension through the whole front of the body, the front of the spine, the anterior spine, and then that allows for the connection with the shoulder blades. Just let the head release down. So see, that was a little bit too low for me, but you don't have to have something underneath your head. I could even bring my arms there. I could rest my arms here. Or you can take your hands back and hold onto the inner chair rail. Extend the arms. So you're getting that same work with the shoulders and the arms that you had earlier at the wall. I'm going to come out a little bit. And now I'm going to just straighten the legs with the heels on the floor. So this distance is going to be better for me. Thighs descending. Arms are able to rotate. You can hold onto that chair, back chair rail, and turn the arms. Turn the inner shoulder, turn the shoulder blades down towards your hips. Extend the legs. So depending which way feels better for you, maybe not taking the arms through the chair, maybe just being in this position helps you to get the right direction of the shoulder blades, the right lift of the chest. And here you're in an inversion. Crown of the head is down. So paying attention to your breath. And then you're going to come up by bringing your hands back on the chair rail, walking your feet in a little bit so that you have some footing there to be able to lift up. So I'm bringing one foot in front of the other, bringing my hips into the chair and lifting up. And sitting there, you're going to come into a stable position on both sitting bones. Feet are also together, knees are together. And we'll do just a little bit of a twist, Parvatasana here. This feels nice after being inverted, and also you're helping to get that openness and rotation in the shoulders. So this hand goes back, holding onto the chair seat, and with that hand, you can rotate that shoulder. Bring the shoulder blade in, lift up through the chest. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, turn. So using your breath to be a guide to extend upward and exhale, turn. Shoulders are descending. So if this arm, if you have it here, drop it down. If you have long arms so that you're not hiking that shoulder. You saw the student at the very beginning, he was lifting that shoulder because he had tightness. So if you have tightness, bring your hand down. And then exhale, come back to the center. And then other side, take your hand back. And when I take my arm back, I'm bringing that shoulder blade into the body. This shoulder blade is widening and moving out to the sides. This part of the back is widening. This shoulder blade is moving in and the chest is lifting. So taking my hand, inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn. Inhale, lift. Using both arms, the hand on the back seat and the chair rail, to extend up through both sides of the trunk, but at the same time descending the shoulders. Exhale. And then release. To come out of the chair, you can just lean it forward. Depending on your chair, every chair is a little bit different, but if you have a chair like this, folding chair, and then you're going to come forward, your head on the chair again, with your arms, and walk your feet back. Rest your arms. And then changing the cross on your arms. And bring your hands onto the chair, forearms to the edge, and lengthen the arms. As much as you can. And then again, come forward. If you need to take your hands wider, take the hands wider. You can always hold the sides of the chair, and then start to straighten the arms. Front ribs toward the back ribs. And release. Okay, so now you take your chair away. If you have a bolster, you're going to be on this bolster. If you have two bolsters, then you can have a T-shape, cross bolsters. If you don't have two bolsters, then just have a couple blocks here. Okay, you're going to come into Bandha. So the same direction with the shoulders. Start with your whole head, or part of your head at least. I think I'm going to be too close to the wall, so I'm going to move away a little bit. This mat is very steep, so I have to put it up. Okay. So hopefully that's the right distance. But anyway, my hips are at the edge, and I'll use my feet again to slide my whole back down, shoulders down. So the skin is moving down. And then you're going to straighten your legs. Okay, so I'm a little bit away from the wall. It's okay for me. The backs of my knees are resting on the bolster, but so the point is just adjust yourself. If you want more height under your feet, then you would come up, come closer to the wall, so your feet are at the wall, and then start that process again. So you come down. You want to end up with your shoulders on the floor. So that sliding action from the tops of the shoulders down into the shoulder blades. The hips move down, the legs, feet are pressing against the wall. And there's that turn of the arm and the shoulder again. And just feeling that openness that's come after practicing like this today, with that attention for opening and creating some space in the shoulder. Allowing the bolster to support you completely so that the shoulders descend down with gravity. Thighs are also descending. Your trunk, your hips, and the backs of the thighs supported by the bolster. All bolsters are a little bit different, so your thighs might not be as much on the bolster as mine are, but the action and the direction of the thighs is to be descending down. Front ribs moving down. Bring your attention to your breath. Relax your shoulders. Relax the neck. Relax the face. And then you're going to bend your knees. Roll off your bolster. And then I'd like you to just bring your legs up the wall. You can be flat on the back. You'll come into the wall sideways. So your hip is a little bit up the wall. Scoot yourself in. And then bring your thighs all the way to the wall. Legs up. And just adjusting your arms so that you can completely relax the arms. They're not rotating so much. They're just releasing down on the floor. Legs are descending. Pelvis is moving down, and the abdomen is quiet. Just be there. Now just observe your head. So when you go down, lengthen the back of the head. Take the two bones at the back of the head. You want to have a nice spacious neck. So your throat is going to be a little bit drawn in versus like this, where you're extending. So with that length coming on the back of the head, back of the neck, the throat is able to soften. So softening not only the throat muscles, the neck muscles, the front, the sides, the back, and then the shoulder muscles. So feeling that letting go, that letting down of the shoulders, not needing to do anything now except to release. Then bring your front ribs down towards your back ribs. And observe the abdomen and the pelvis as you do that. Observe the breath. And you can take Shavasana like this. If you'd rather take Shavasana flat on the floor, then you can come out and just bring your legs along the floor. Now bend your knees. Roll onto your right side. Bring your arm up underneath your head to support your arm, to support your head. And then using your other hand, press yourself up and come back into a seated position. Sitting up tall. Relax the shoulders down. Feel the shoulder blades descending. And as you just be here, just breathe. So when you're breathing, being aware of any tension that you're creating, either habitually, becomes some action that you're doing, and just let go of that. Let the breath help you to undo, unknot, unravel those fibers that get twisted and are chronically tight. Namaste. Thank you for joining. I hope you're feeling better, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this class. It's always one of my favorites to do just because it helps to release tension. So go back to this whenever you feel any tension in your body. Just be aware of that kind of gnawing, aggravating pain that you get that you ignore, and do something about it before it becomes something that you have to really deal with, all right? So there's another class that you can look at, which is shoulders and upper back. I'll be doing different poses that will also help you, which will be a great asset for you in your toolkit to deal with every day, all right? So take care, and I'll see you next time.